I have not done a whip and chat in a long time. So I thought I would do one with my diamond painting chart. I'm doing Maisie for my diamond painting event, Literary Canvas Creations. And I'm enjoying it. This is a blank canvas. I actually had it printed on poster paper. I went to a local printer and I asked him to, no, I'm sorry. This is photo paper. I asked him to print it on poster paper because this is just a project for me. And he said it would have to be photo paper. And I said, oh, that's okay. And so he did it on a thicker photo paper, and that's the one I'm using. And he also did it on one that's a little bit more thin. And he said you could just have that one. So that was kind of a sample. So I appreciated that. I thought that was very kind. So I am just cleaning out the wax out of the pen, and I used murder tweezers for that. There, I see a lot of people, a lot of newbies asking, how do you get the wax out of the pen? And you can just use a pair of sharp tweezers. Just take it out. So when you do a chart, it's printed on several sheets of paper, and this is the bottom left-hand side of the chart. So I'm working on the bottom left-hand side, and I'm going to go left to right. So this first page is just 7 rows high, but that's just how it printed. That's just the size of the diamond painting canvas. And when it was divided up into 6 pages, 5 and 6 are just these bottom 7 rows. So it's not great photography here on my part, but it'll do. So I'm using my tweezers to place the drills, and there's a lot of confetti. So I'm using tweezers to place the drills in a checkerboard pattern, and I'm also using the straightener. When I started at the bottom and on the edge, I put the straightener along the grid, and I placed the drills along the edge of the straightener to do my best to keep the drill straight. And once I use the tweezers to make a checkerboard pattern, then I go in with the pen and place the drills in between the checkerboard pattern that I've already created with the tweezers. This is the first time I've done a chart, and I already like it better than matching up the symbols. You do have to pay attention because it's easy to lose your place. You can't see it in this image here, but I did number the drills 1 through 10, 1 through 10, 1 through 10 to work in sections of 10 drills in length and then in height. Now, I am not someone that buys stuff. I have stuff, but I don't go out and buy a lot. And I use what I have. I like to make do with what I have. And so, yeah, I'm using a lot of green trays. And a lot of people don't like the green trays, but you know what? I'm fine with it. And, you know, it's just a state of mind. And anybody, if you're new, you don't need a lot to get started. Your kit comes with everything you need. And if you become an aficionado of diamond painting, you will accumulate a lot of trays. And then it's perfectly fine to go out and spend money on nicer trays, nicer pens, whatever makes you happy. However you like to do this hobby for you is all that matters. And I can hear people going, oh my gosh, those green trays, I hate those green trays. And I was laughing while I was doing that. Because, yeah, they're not flat. They're a little warped. But they're okay for me. I don't mind them. I live in Massachusetts, and we had our April snow the day before yesterday. The weathermen were predicting this huge storm but I live real close to the Connecticut border, and I live in Western Mass. So we don't get the big snowfalls that the Berkshires get and the Boston area gets. They kind of skirt us. And we did get about an inch. The night before it rained and sleet, and the next morning when I woke up it was snowing, and we did get about an inch. And it snowed the better part of the morning. I don't know when it started snowing overnight, but it was only enough to get an inch accumulation. And but because it was wet and it was raining, that was packing down the snow too. So I have no idea. You can't really measure the snow in inches that way when the rain just packs it down. And then yesterday, I was sitting at a red light and my car started shaking side to side. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is wrong with my car? And then it stopped. And then it started shaking very slowly side to side and then vigorously side to side. It did that the first time. And then I'm looking around, there's construction. So there's construction right there. So I'm thinking that's got to be the wind, or it's got to be the vibrations from those big trucks. And as the light turned green and I drove off, my truck was I drive an SUV. It was fine. I thought, what the heck was that? And then, so I'm going to donate plasma. So I get all comfy and I'm all hooked up to the machine and I start reading the Facebook and the news. Did I see the news? Yeah, I saw the news first. And it said that there was a earthquake in New Jersey. So the first thing I did was message Chris Kalasa, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. And I'm like, oh, that's why my car was shaking. That was crazy. I'm definitely glad Chris was okay. And still is okay. The last time I experienced an earthquake, I actually lived outside of Albany, and my son was an infant. And he was old enough to be down the hall in his own room. And I was in bed, and my husband at the time, my ex-husband, he got in bed. And it felt like the house lifted up, moved over, and set down again. And my first thought was that my husband got in the bed and, just flopped and hit it really hard. But then I'm looking down the hallway because I'm thinking I got to go grab my son and get in the, stand in the door frame. But that was just that one experience, but it was scary. Because, we don't have stuff like that up here in this area very often. Twice now in my lifetime. I did record this video the other day silently. I was just working on it because you do have to pay attention so you know where you are. And now that I'm doing a voiceover for the WIP and chat, I don't know what to talk about. Geez, I talk to myself all day long, but even then I'm doing something, so it's like I'm having a staff meeting with myself. The thing about doing this image on a blank canvas is that you can see the white between the drills, and so you keep fussing and moving the drills. I'm going to have this printed, but next time with a 2.52 millimeters instead of the 2.54. I might even go down the 2.5. And then there's no wiggle room, no room for error. But that's okay because the drills, you'll be forced to put the drill straight. So I mixed my 815 and 814 together. So I'm going to dump them out. That it's garnet, I don't know, garnet and garnet very dark or garnet and garnet medium or something. So I separated most of them, but I will easily spot them next time I dump the drills into the tray if I missed any while I'm doing this. And I can just separate them more then. But isn't this always fun when you mix your drills? And the colors are so close together. It's not like I mixed a red and a green. I mixed garnet and garnet. My ancestors are from a tiny town in Massachusetts called Blandford. And they have an agricultural fair, and I think it's about to be 155 years old or 156 years old. And I've been volunteering there every year since I was a kid. There was a while when I moved to Texas and then came back home, and then I moved out to the Albany, New York area, and then I came home. And I love the really small agricultural fairs, and they're just fun. And I volunteer in the youth hall, and I love it when the kids bring their entries in. You know, they make cookies or cakes or some art they made in school, their hobbies, their collections. And when I was a kid, that youth hall was filled. We hardly had enough room to put everything in there. And sadly, with electronics, kids don't have the hobbies that they used to have. And the 4-H group there's no local 4-H group. The closest one is almost an hour away. The serious ones, there are some 4-H groups that come and they show their cows and their sheep. That it's not what it used to be. We still get a good crowd for the horse draws, the pony draws, the ox draws, the horse show. The truck pulls are a big truck pulls. I was going to say truck pulls are a big draw, no pun intended. But on Thursdays, the kids bring their entries in and they're so excited. And if they run into a classmate, what did you make? You know, and then it's a fun competition for them. And then Friday morning, the judges come and judge all the entries, the flowers, the eggs, the vegetables, the cookies, the sewing, if there is any, and the art, the photography. And then the fair opens Friday evening and runs through Monday, Memorial Day. And I just love it when the kids come and see that they've won a ribbon. It's so sweet. It's so wholesome, and they're so excited. You know, and if there are just a few entries of chocolate chip cookies, for example, there'll be a first place, second place, third place, fourth place, however many entries there are. And the kids that won got a ribbon, third place, fourth place, whatever, they are just as excited as the child that won first place. And if there's 3 entries and they get first, second, third place, the kid that gets third place is just as excited as the kid that gets first place, because they don't realize there's only 3 entries in their third place. And you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The kids baked those cookies and they brought them to the fair and they won a ribbon. And it is so sweet. Okay, back to this for a minute. So these are labels. I just printed this out on my printer, so this is actually just paper, not labels. But I'm cutting them out, and I have double-sided tape, and I'm going to put these labels on my bags of drills with the double-sided tape. I know a lot of people don't like working out of the bags. Like I said earlier, I make do with what I have. And it doesn't matter, you know, whatever you have, whatever you like, whatever makes you happy when you are doing your hobby, that's all that matters. So back at the fair, I have volunteers that come in and sit in the youth hall. And that's just to make sure that, nobody steals anything. And that has happened, but not very often. Or people will come in and they'll pick up a display to look at it, and we just ask them to not touch it. Like they might touch wool that a kid has spun, and the littles, they want to pick up the toys, the collections like Legos and cars and stuff like that, and so we just watch for that because the kids worked hard on their displays, and we make sure the kids do it because the parents want to set up the displays so they can hurry up and get out of there. But it's the kids' display. Children have to set it up. And there's rules to follow. Like collection has to be a 12 by 12 inch space, and a hobby has to take up 9 square feet. And miniature flower displays can't be taller than 5 inches. And when they enter a baked good like cookies, they have to be uniform in size, and they have to handwrite the recipe and things like that. I don't know how these rules were started, but they're pretty much the same at most fairs. One time I went to a different fair because I wanted to see how they run things. And a little girl had entered for her collection chapsticks. She had all these different flavors of chapstick. But she enjoyed it, and it's important to her, so she proudly displayed it. I thought that was hilarious. One year this girl did a display. I don't remember what the display was, of what the category was. She had created this huge display about, I think it's a winter tick. Winter tick. And she and her grandfather, I guess, had been out walking in the woods, and they came across a carcass of a deer. And she had done whatever conversation she had and her grandfather had, or whatever she learned about the winter tick, and this tick will multiply and multiply and multiply, and so many ticks will cover the deer that they will suck the blood out of the deer eventually faster than the deer's body can reproduce the blood. And people were walking by and they were looking at the picture. And they're like, oh, why would they do that? Why would they enter a picture of that? That's gross. And I said, well, I would tell them, if you took the time to read, because this girl researched the science of it, and she made charts and documents and put it up all on this presentation board along with the pictures. And I said, well, take the time to read it. It's very interesting. And, because I didn't know any of that. And other people would take the time to read it. And wow, I never knew. That's pretty fascinating. Yeah, nature's pretty fascinating. It is. Sometimes it's gross, but it's also fascinating. Every year in April, for as long as I can remember, there have been canoe races. My brother was in them a couple of times. And somebody that I volunteer in community theater with was telling me that she volunteers at the canoe races every year. I said, you know what? I never even thought about it. And so I got in touch with them last year, and I went and I volunteered at registration, where people register online for the canoe races, and then they come and they pick up their race numbers. And if they didn't register online, they pay there. So that's what I did last year. And then it's a timed race, so it's not like there's a starting line. The canoes are released, like, go into the water every few minutes, and they're timed. They're given they have a start time. Somebody at the beginning of the race has the start time for all the different teams, and then somebody at the other end makes note of the end times. So that's how the time is kept. And I watched for a little while, but then I went home. But this year I'm going to stay, and there's lunch afterwards, and I'm going to go hang out there. That'll be fun. There was a guy who was drunk, and one of the volunteers I worked with went over and got the police officer, because we were at registration, so we were in the park, just on the edge of the driveway that goes into the parking lot where people can come and park their trucks. And so the policeman walked over, and I don't know what he said, because they were out of earshot, but this guy had a kayak. And the policeman came back and he told us, yeah, I told him that he's not going to race. And I don't know what happened after that, but this guy takes his kayak down to the water, or to get in line to get in the water. And so I couldn't see them from where I was, but the officer went down and talked to the guy who runs the race. And so when the drunk kayaker got to the water, they said, yeah, you're not racing today. So that prevented a would-be tragedy, or the possibility of a tragedy. But then sadly there was a medical emergency. So thankfully there are paramedics close by. I don't know anything about that other than what I read in the paper. But I felt really bad for this person, because to be in a canoe on a river and have a medical event has got to be pretty scary. So I think what I'm doing here is I'm double checking the drills that I put down, because I did put some drills in the wrong place. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Yep, I put some drills in the wrong place, so I had to pick them up and place them somewhere else.
Put this in the wrong place. Think over here.
Yep. So the adhesive on diamond painting canvas allows for repositioning. So you place the drills and they stick to the glue. However, you do have the ability to pick the drills up and place them somewhere else. That is because the glue is not a permanent adhesive. So it's a good idea when you're done diamond painting for the night to cover up your diamond painting and put something heavy on the drills, just weight. And then when you're done with your diamond painting, seal it. Doesn't matter how thick or how sticky the glue is, how much confidence you have in the diamond painting company, you should seal your diamond paintings. Even if you've never had any problems before, it's always a good idea to seal your diamond painting. So it's pretty easy to pick them up. Now I'm going to double check and make sure I put them in the right spot. So what are you working on? Let me know in the comments. Are you involved in any events right now? I've got that literary canvas creations. That is going on till the end of May. Saturdays at 4, I'm going to go live. Jade has an event going on. And there are other events too. Geez, I can't think of the other one that's going on. There's a Facebook group where you can find out what events are going on. There's so many. It'd be so hard to choose which one you want to be involved in, but they're so much fun. You get to meet other diamond painters, have conversations with other diamond painters. You can learn a lot from other diamond painters, or just the community. You know, you get your diamond painting and then you watch the YouTube video and diamond paint along and know that people from all over the world are diamond painting with you. That's kind of cool. I want to give a shout out to Make Your Own Wall Art. If you are on TikTok, you should look for him. If you're not on TikTok, check out his website. He was a tattoo artist and now he makes diamond paintings full time. So he creates his own art. He has printers and he prints his diamond paintings. Some of them he has made in China, but for the most part, he prints them at his house. And he has created a putty called Alien Putty. And he sells that and he gives instructions on how to use it because it's not like wax where you just poke your pen in the putty or poke your pen in the wax and you're good to go. He buys the metal tips and he drills them out a little bit so they can, so the putty, it can hold more, I think. I don't know. You'd have to watch his videos because he explains it. And the putty, you have to cut it and I think roll it in your fingers and then you use tweezers to pack it into the pen, the multi-placers, and it has a great pop. And now, I mean, the Alien Putty is so popular. You may have heard of it on other YouTube videos or TikTok videos. And it has become so popular that a well-known diamond painting company has copied him. And they are doing something with their pens and offering a similar product. So to try this, I suggest you go to Make Your Own Wall Art and try this putty. Now you might look at it and say that's too expensive, but that one package of putty is going to last you a long time. So it is worth it in the long run because you're going to get more than your money's worth as far as time and not having to, you know, refill your pen all the time and the satisfaction of the pop. And he makes different colors and it's nice. So make sure you look him up and make sure you watch his videos on how to use it properly and you will fall in love with it. And support him over larger companies, please. So I am double checking the color there because these reds and browns are so close together in shades. Now that I've been watching this for a while, I want to get up and actually go work on my diamond painting because it's out in the other room. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I am almost at 500 subscribers. And that's kind of exciting. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Come 4 o'clock on Saturdays and tune in for the literary canvas event. I would love to have you. And you can have a late start. You can start by April 15th. You can find me on Facebook on a Homespun Hobby. You can find the literary canvas event on Facebook, and all the rules for the event are there. Thanks for watching.